So this is my limited knowledge of how to use a screen reader like NVDA to interact with math. As I mentioned, Zach has talked about how Wikipedia is pretty good in terms of how they mark up math, and you can use it to see if your screen reader is set up to interact with math and have it read correctly. So I've landed on this Wikipedia page about the quadratic formula, and I'm going to work my way down until I land on an equation.
Menu. Cap in roots using the given a general ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0.
Now you'll hear that it read ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. It didn't say graphic and then read the alt text for that. If I hit insert and alt and M,
Math.
you
Ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0.
you hear that it said math. So it's recognizing that this is math markup language and not just an image of an equation. And if I use my down arrow key,
Ax squared plus ax squared a. Zoomed in all of the way, a.
if I keep going down with my down arrow key, eventually I hear zoomed in all the way. And then if I use my left and right arrow keys,
Start of math. X squared, a. X squared, plus, bx, plus, c, is equal to 0.
and what I did there is I had to go with the left arrow key until I got to the beginning of the math, and then I was doing individual taps of the right arrow key to move across the equation, and you could hear it read.
A. X squared, plus, bx, plus, c, is equal to 0.
So as I understand, it's important to have this finite control of navigating through in a math equation to not just hear it read out loud. There are cases where alt text is created for a really complex math equation, and it will maybe be accurate in describing the math, but it doesn't give the screen reader user the ability to break apart the equation and navigate through components of it and get that understanding in their own control of looking at the document. They're sort of stuck with whatever the equation has. And so I think if your user is running into problems with NVDA and trying to read math, um, if it's set up properly to be able to read math ML, going to a page like this quadratic formula page would be a good test bed for interacting with math and seeing if the screen reader is first, set up to properly read math. Um, what I have encountered, and Zach has corrected me on, is sometimes if I pick a different speech synthesizer, it will not properly read the math. So that's also an important thing to be aware of. And like I said, there's just a combination of skills needed to know how to use a screen reader, know about math, know about how to navigate math equations, know what plugins you need for NVDA or whatever screen reader you're using. And it just seems like it really calls for a greater deal of expertise for students to interact with math, but it's not, totally out of reach. Um, so I am just going to finish up this little recording just to show that, there is the ability to interact with math equations. And I think once you've landed on math and you're in that mode of using the arrow keys, the up and down to zoom in and zoom out, and the left and right to navigate through it, it's important to know with NVDA that you hit the escape key.
Ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0.
Then you can use the arrow keys to navigate through the rest of the document.